Yo, what's happening everybody, King GPL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Today we're going to be showcasing Lurantis in the Open Great League, which after the Trevenant nerf, Lurantis is now the rank 1 grass type in the Great League according to PvPoke. Lurantis is coming in at number 41, Shadow Abomasnow of course 43, Meganium 48, and Chesnaught 58. So according to PvPoke this is the best one, and we're actually running the normal moveset of Fury Cutter and Leaf Blade. Now of course you can run this Pokemon with the new move, which I personally don't really like, Leafage. It's 3.5 energy per turn and 3.6 damage per turn, so it's a bullet punch clone, and it honestly just doesn't really do it for me. For me, even though the damage output on Fury Cutter is very low, you get to the move so quickly. You get to Leaf Blade, which is one of the best moves in the game, 2.4 damage per energy, 35 energy for the move, 84 damage, such a good move. You get to that in 9 Fury Cutters, whereas with, which is basically 9 turns. If you go with Leafage, it'll take 10 turns, and of course with the superpower, you can get to that with Fury Cutter in 10 turns, whereas with Leafage it would be 12. So I think Fury Cutter is still the way to go. In these first battles here, I'm running this with Diggersby. I do end up swapping it out to Dunsparce. I've just been so desperate to get a Diggersby team going, but this meta is very, very bad for Diggersby. Anyway guys, welcome to the video, hope you're all having a fantastic day. Do me a favour really quick, hit that like button, pause the video, hit that like button, drop a like, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And a question of the day here, what is your favourite grass type to use in the Great League since the Trevenant nerf? And you know, even if it is Trevenant itself, let me know which one is your preferred grass type. I do think I will be using Trevenant in the next couple of days here, so keep an eye out for that. Probably tomorrow I'll make a video on Trevenant. But yeah, let me know your favourite and let's hop into the video. So with this team, first set I went 5-0. The opponent actually lagged out of one of the matches that they should have been beating me on. So I actually got a little bit of help there from Niantic, actually, for once. I was losing the match and the opponent lagged out, unfortunately for them. And then I went 1-4, I got another 5-0, and then I think I went 2 out of 5. So if you want to add that up, I think that's, what, 13 out of 20 with this team? So not terrible, but I don't think this team is particularly good. Of course Dunsparce and Lanturn deal with any potential flyers, except for Altaria, which is quite a core breaker for this team. You're basically forced to go into Lanturn, and if the opponent stays in and shields up, they can take switch and you're in a bit of a mess at that point. So doing a quick comparison here between the two moves, if you use Leafage, you actually get a lot of breakpoints in terms of damage. You do a lot more damage to a lot of different Pokemon. In terms of battle rating, with Leafage you gain Alolan Ninetales in the 1 shield, Pelipper, Registeel, and Walrein, which is quite interesting. You're just doing that extra damage. But you will lose Cresselia, Alolan Sandslash, and Victreebel. So having a Fury Cutter is better for Sandslash, which is a pretty big one, and of course a Victreebel. If you put that into the 2 shield, Leafage actually picks up Frostlass and Registeel, and you lose Deoxys, Medicham, Obstagoon, Sandslash, Scrafty, Victreebel, and Walrein. So there's definitely like pros and cons to it. I think I just prefer the spamminess of Fury Cutter, and that is the preferred moveset on PvPoke. Even though you get a slightly higher battle rating with Leafage, I think Fury Cutter is just the way to go in general. It really just comes down to team composition and how you want to run it, but I think I do definitely prefer that. And yeah, with all that being said, let's hop into the battles. That should give you some rough ideas. If you guys want to check this out for yourself, you go to basically pvpoke.com/battle/matrix, and you can type in the different Pokemon and compare them, and you can see basically a full like scorecard against the whole meta if you want to check that out for yourself. But hopping into this matchup here, I'm not really paying attention to the gameplay here, I'm just thinking about Lurantis and the moves. But we've got Registeel. I think they might be outpacing us here to a Focus Blast, which I think will just about one-shot the Dunsparce here, unfortunately. Can we live this? We do live it actually, we'll get off another move. Back in comes a Flyer. Is that Pelipper or Altaria? Sorry, I'm in a complete mess here, it is Pelipper. And I think we're going to lose this match, are we? Oh no, I've got a Leaf Blade maybe ready to go here quite soon. Yes, let's go. And the opponent just actually threw off their Focus Blast, so they're going to be a little bit away from their move. That just does so much damage to Pelipper. Can we get to the superpower in time? Yes, we do. The opponent, it'll take a little while for them to get to another Focus Blast. They just dumped it into Dunsparce and went for the catch, so they were still a couple of turns away from their next one. Next match, very positive lead here. Of course, it would be even better with Leafage, but the opponent is staying in here, and we're going to fire for Leaf Blade. I'm like, right, no problem, buddy. We're going to fire this off. Now, the opponent's staying in here. I'm like, bro, you're using Sludge Wave, aren't you? Oh, I'm like, I hate the shield, right? But it's just like, you just have to shield this. When the opponent stays in with Swampert, it just stinks. Like, in comes Clefable. And what I decide to do here is basically spam off 2 Leaf Blades, or at least 1, get a shield off the opponent, do a ton of damage, basically guarantee myself to take switch advantage, and then look to come in with probably Lanturn, just to get some use out of it. Yes, we come in with Lanturn, of course. Swampert can't Earthquake this thing. We're going to eat what I was hoping to be a meteor mash. It is a moonblast, and we're going to look to farm this the whole way down. Now at this point the opponent's ahead in energy. I know they're not quite at a move here, so I can look to basically fire off the surf straight away. I was basically watching the top right of the screen to make sure that it was Swampert that came in, so this is looking pretty good. The opponent are going to farm up here. I think this could be an earthquake, but I'm not really going to shield this at this point. It is a hydro cannon, and can we get off another surf? Yes we do. And I think the opponent probably should be letting this go, and we'll probably see what's in the back here. The opponent does let it go, and in comes a Walrein. We're going to come in with Lurantis, and I actually make a bit of a misplay here. So I shield up the first one here, right? And here's my thinking, right? We're going to build up here to just before they reach the next Icicle Spear, and then go for this. See, this is bad because I'm thinking, right, I don't want to give the opponent extra farm, but look at this, 1, 2, 3. I didn't get the Leaf Blade off because this game's super laggy, but if I had have just went for back-to-back Leaf Blades, I would have done a ton of damage. But I sort of knew at the time, like, this Shadow Walrein, I can eat an Earthquake so easily on dunsparce. It has got decent bulk, and one Rock Slide is going to look to take this thing out anyway. So that's kind of my thinking, like, fire off the superpower, give the opponent less farm. I was actually trying to CMP them, which would have been the best play possible, which means they dump off their energy, but it just, you know, it worked out in the end, but it was a little bit less optimal. Interesting matchup here. The opponent will go straight for Rock Slide. So this Pokemon is quite similar to Chesnaught, except it doesn't have the fighting typing, which is, you know, of course, protecting against Rock Slides. So we're farming up as much energy as possible here. We're going to fire off Leaf Blade number 1. Will the opponent respect it? No, they do not. We're going to fire off Superpower number 1. Will the opponent respect this? Let's have a look. They do respect it, and at this point I'm happy enough to shield up, look to dump off another move, and then probably look to catch a Rock Slide on something here. We'll see if we're actually going to fire off another move. We actually just go straight for the catch, and we do sneak a full rollout there for free. The opponent goes for a Rock Slide, and in comes Scrafty. So we kind of need to draw this thing out. This is our real, like, of course, Lurantis is our main answer to Scrafty. We get a drill run through, get a little bit of chip damage on it, and the opponent looks to be committing to a farm down. I think they get a little bit scared there, and they do decide to fire off the move. Now, the opponent correctly goes for a foul play, so they don't have to eat another drill run, and I think Lurantis is going to come back in here. Of course, these are actually neutral, because it's got a joint fighting typing. If you guys didn't know this, Bug is resisted by fighting. We go for number 1, and now we're going to go, just before they reach the next move, we're going to go for the superpower, and most likely look to dip out of here. We're going to dip into Lanturn straight away. Now this is still a very awkward matchup here. The opponent goes for the catch. I was anticipating the catch, and we're going to go for Thunderbolt. Now this is still going to be tough to win, because the opponent can go for 1 Earthquake to take us out. So pretty much I think I have to no-shield everything here, but it's going to get to the point here where 2 Thunderbolts are going to really put me deep, and the opponent could be looking to farm me down. So we're over-farming as much as possible here before throwing, trying to leave a little bit of energy on the other side, and we'll see how we can do this. Now at this point, look at this, we're in Thunderbolt range. I have to shield this, unfortunately, otherwise they're just going to take me out. Now can I make a catch or something? I think I'm going to look to fire off a Surf. I think I was counting at this point. Oh, I think this is the one where... Okay, this is one where stupid things are happening. I go for a catch here, right? And I'm actually about to get to the Leaf Blade. Did you see that? Did you see that? The game literally froze as I hit the move, and the opponent overtaps, and I am able to get off the Surf. So I think their game froze and my game froze. But you guys seen that, right? I just got to the move, and then the game lagged like 3 or 4 turns, like a couple of turns. Like the game completely froze on my charge move. I was super frustrated, but of course I felt very lucky to win that match in the end because, of course here's a 5-0. But I felt very lucky to win that because it was definitely super laggy on both sides here. And yeah, we just, after the set we went, I think 1-4. I went 5-0, and I didn't record the 5-0. But here's a very negative lead. We're going to swap into something here at some point. We're going to farm up to a ton of energy, and then look to catch a Scat Attack. The opponent doesn't fall for it, and in comes Mudboy Whiscash. This is a terrible matchup for Lanturn. We can get off a couple of neutral surfs, but this thing is pretty bulky. It's a little bit unlike Swampert. This thing must be bulkier than Swampert, because surfs I think add up a little bit more in Swampert. I'm over farming here a little bit. I should be just trying to get off the damage immediately, because they do reach the moves a lot faster than me. We go for CMP on the next surf. I am tempted to shield this up at this point, but I'm thinking like I just kind of have to come in with Lurantis, get a bit of a farm. Obviously I don't want to let them go for the avalanche, so I'm going to look to get rid of them straight away here, and just hope that dunsparce can sweep both Altaria and Registeel. So can we do this? I think this might be a little bit too much for me here. Registeel, of course, can eat about 3 of these drill runs. It can definitely eat 2, and they of course will shield up. So like this is looking very tough, because one, they go for a Zap Cannon bait as well, which is kind of annoying. One Focus Blast will basically look to take me out, and I think we need to make some sort of a combo play here. The opponent actually lets the second one go, we get to another move. At this point, if the opponent wants to keep Registeel around, they are forced to shield up. So we're going to basically try to farm up to the next one. The opponent, I think, have they dumped both of their shields at this point? So focus blast coming through. Okay, they still have a shield, and in comes Altaria. I swap out, like I was going to do the same thing, I swap out at the same time, which is kind of sad. I think maybe at this time, I can't remember what I was thinking, this is a couple of days ago, but maybe I knew the opponent was close to Sky Attack. They go for a nasty undercharge as well. I go for a superpower to give the opponent less farm. I would be very surprised if I managed to win this match. We'll have a look here. We can live a Sky Attack here for sure, and what I need to do is get a massive overfarm here, and look to fire off multiple moves on the Reggie, but the opponent's already at the next Sky Attack, and that's going to be a good game. Unfortunately, just a really bad lead, really bad swap, and not a whole lot I could have done. They catch the Rock Slide on the Reggie as well, which is hilarious. And yeah, good games to the opponent. So sometimes, like, there are just teams with this team that are just so hard to deal with. Definitely when you get steel types. Lurantis, it is amazing, and of course Dunsparce is very good as well. But these Pokemon, like all of these Pokemon, don't really dominate steel types in any way. We're against a Razor Leafer here. Can anybody guess what the team is going to be? Can anybody guess? Any guesses in the comment section down below? You'll win a lucky prize if you can guess what this team is, because it's, you know, definitely not an obvious one. We're going to spam off Leaf Blades. I'm trying to get to 2 here. So the Razor Leaf went through, and I go for the second move, but again, I can't get it off. I think the damage was just applied there, so I think that was normal. We'll come in with Dunsparce here, and I decided to let this go. I think I was just annoyed at this point. I'm like, yeah, whatever, just Leaf Blade me, bro. Or like Acid Spray me, or whatever you want to do. I go for Rock Slide here, it doesn't matter which move I go for. Generally, you do go for the more optimal move, which would be Drill Run. We'll see what the opponent decides to come in with here. They come in with Bastiodon, oh, what a surprise. And we actually do get off this Drill Run, which is absolutely huge, I think. We instantly go into, of course, Lanturn here because we're dead. And we're going to look to basically overfarm. The only saving grace here is we do have a shield. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, they've just got Medicham in the back. This game is just over. The opponent is going for a move here finally. So I'm thinking, like, I do sort of have to shield this up. Can't get farmed down. We're going to go for an overfarm here as much as possible. And look to fire off a Surf. And hopefully, like, look to threaten whatever's in the back. So this is looking very, very rough, but it is a Granbull. It is a Shadow Granbull. Surf number 1 coming through. Boom. That does about 50% of their health, and the opponent sees the writing on the wall. Get that shit team out of my face. Lurantis is just better. Dunsparce and Lanturn is just better. Get out. And let's hop into the next one. Pretty good lead here. Of course, Quagsire. We can outpace this thing, and I think I go for a Leaf Blade and Dip here. Sableye, like, I don't have like an amazing answer. I guess Dunsparce is an amazing answer to it, come to think of it. I come into Lanturn here. The reason I come into Lanturn is because Quagsire completely wrecks it. And once again, like, I'm trying to get a little bit of usage out of this Pokemon, knowing that on the other side, you know, it's going to be pretty useless. Yeah, we surf that out of here. And I probably should have went for an overfarm, but I kind of did want to make sure I took Switch, because one more Foul Play would have been getting very close. And maybe the opponent would have been incentivized to shield at that point. The opponent fires off a move just before we get to this one. And it's sort of looking a bit trickier now because they're ahead on energy, and I think this could have been a Stone Edge, so I decided to respect it. The opponent does go straight for it, and in comes Noctowl. So we have Dunsparce versus Noctowl. They've got 2 shields, I've got 1. We're going to try and overfarm as much as possible. Opponents always let you sneak through rollouts. I think they prefer that move straight away. So that's what I'm trying to do, just overfarm and give myself a chance to get free rollouts. We're going to fire off a Rock Slide here and look to fire off, of course, multiple more. We basically do have to shield us here, and I'm going to look to try and get off 1 or 2 more Rock Slides if possible here. We definitely should get off both of these. I think I'll throw the next one in bad timing, just to get it off immediately. Yeah, we're just going to fire this off immediately, make sure we just apply the damage and apply the pressure here, and we're going to look to try and sweep with Lurantis. The opponent fires the move just before we get to the next one, and basically this is a question of, can we outpace to this Leaf Blade? And I think the opponent might have been just at a move or very close to a move there. So we fire off this Leaf Blade, and in comes Quagsire. Now, can we outpace this to a Stone Edge? Yes, we can. We're going to fire this off, and this one Leaf Blade is going to absolutely wreck this thing, and that's going to be a good game. Of course, that's the really bad thing about these Mud Boys with the joint water and ground typing. One grass move basically takes them out, even if it's just a Seed Bomb. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let me know what you think your favourite grass type is in the Great League, or what you think the best grass type is in the Great League. I personally would say Lurantis is not the best. I think it doesn't have the bulk to hang in there, unfortunately. I still think Trevenant is very good, despite the nerf, and I think things like Venusaur and Chesnaught are very good options. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.